Speak the Speech is a project that brings together two of Shakespeare's most famous plays into radio plays, developed by young people for young people. Now, these behind the scenes videos will give you a great insight into how we developed these plays and how lockdown presented an opportunity to bring on a brand new challenge.
Shakespeare in the Park was originally conceived as an outdoor event at Stephen's House and Gardens in Finchley, and it was going to be an immersive experience for all audience members to come along and watch our two shows while diving themselves into the world of Shakespeare through some of our interactive events we had planned. But unfortunately, due to the circumstances, we could not perform to a live audience, which changed our plans massively, and we had to convert our two shows into two radio plays, and we transferred pretty much everything to online, just like this video.
Hello, Josh.
Hi, Callum. This challenged us to develop our acting skills very differently, because a lot of us are used to acting on stage and portraying emotions through facial expressions and body languages in many different ways, and by following practitioners that we've used. But with it all being on a radio play, it was very different for us, and we had to do things differently and train differently. It was very fun for us.
Because originally, I think some of us thought we weren't going to do Shakespeare, and I think that upset quite a lot of us. But then we got told we were doing it in a radio play, and I think a lot of panic set in, and we were a bit like, how is this going to work? But in the end, I think it was a good chance to make the best out of a situation. I think no one could have guessed what was going to happen, and to make the most of what we did through a radio play, which basically gave us another skill on top of learning Shakespeare, and on top of like going to act it, we had to act it just through our voice. And I think for us, not even understanding Shakespeare, or even not hearing about Much Ado About Nothing, to performing Shakespeare without actions and just with our voice, I think it was a massive growth.
It was very weird to have to record it at home, because a lot of people didn't have the equipment. And the quality of the sound from the things we did, which was so simple, was amazing. Literally, I was sat in my room in a corner with like pillows around me, my duvet over my head, and it changed the aspects of the sound completely. It was so much more crisper.
How did you really feel at first being told we were going to do Shakespeare and it was going to be in front of a live audience? And I assume for you, it was the first time you were doing Shakespeare, like a lot of us.
Yeah, so most of us, it was the first time for doing Shakespeare, and it was honestly like, I know people get scared for doing plays and being on stage, but for us as actors, like, it was a generally like at first scary, because to some of us Shakespeare's a completely different language, and it's so hard to put your emotions into words that when you don't know what they mean, and sometimes you're thinking more about the lines and your emotion isn't there and your acting isn't the best. So at first it was really scary to do, but I think we kind of got there in the end, because we went through, in the first table read, we did a whole table read, and then the second time we went through and scene by scene and marked out everything and every word and every line and make sure we knew what was going on. And then just as we go through, people go home, do their own little notes, make sure they knew how to say each word, and you kind of just almost learned a new language as you went through the whole process. It was really fun to do.
Yeah, I actually found this very exciting, and because I hadn't done Shakespeare before, I'd only studied it, and I think a lot of people, if students are watching this, I think a lot of people are studying Shakespeare to do their English exams and stuff like that in their GCSEs. Yeah. But as actors, you know, there's this difference between just looking at Shakespeare and performing Shakespeare, because there's a huge jump to it, because we're so used to doing contemporary stuff and reading lines like how we would say it and having slang words in there. Shakespeare has his own sort of slang words and has his own ways he pieces his sentences together. So you have to relearn that in a way, and you really have to dissect the script down. And to be honest, I haven't done that before. Like I haven't done that with the script before. I don't think I have a script that has been this messy in my life. Like there's notes on every single page, like how to say this, what does this word mean, like how to pronounce this word, and I still got it wrong, because it was a very difficult thing. And I remember just, you know, there's certain words you go over and you pronounce wrong, and then it just because it's just something you haven't done before. It takes you out of the ordinary, and I think that's what puts people off Shakespeare. But I think once you really get into it and you learn it, it's almost like learning a new skill. You feel very proud of yourself, and you're like, this is cool. And we, at the end of the day, we get to say, like, during lockdown, we filmed the Shakespeare play through our voice. Like, not many people can say that. And I think for us as students to be able to say that, it's so cool. What did you think about it, Josh?
Obviously for me, I kind of like get into the emotions of myself through like physical features, but having to put that through into your voice was so difficult, and again was quite scary for me at first. But getting into it and then just coming on Zoom with everyone and watching everyone being so passionate about it, even though it's a radio play, you could still see that if they was angry or they was upset, you could still see that in their face that they was acting that out. But it came through so well on the microphone. It was really good.
I'm like you, Josh, as well. Like I use a lot of physical action. So when I was saying my lines, I was like using all these actions behind that no one could see, and I was like, they can't see that. But I think that was what we learned, and I think it was really interesting, and it's an experience that will last forever, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Make sure you're looking out for our up and coming episodes, which are coming out very, very soon, which include a lot more detail about the whole experience and how we found it. There's also some extra details about our student MDs and directors, and a bit more about Shakespeare and decoding it. Hope you enjoy the radio plays.